What if you lost everything you ever built, but still had the recipe for hope? Welcome to Story Studio 91. Yasser stood in the ruins of his bakery in Damascus. Smoke rose from the collapsed walls. The ovens he'd saved for years to buy were destroyed. The glass cases that once held his pastries were shattered. His life's work was gone. The war had taken everything. For 20 years, Yasser was a master baker. His bread made people smile. His baklava was famous throughout the neighborhood. People lined up every morning outside his shop, drawn in by the smell of fresh bread filling the street. But the war didn't care about bakeries or dreams. Bombs fell and his neighborhood became a battlefield. Yasser had choices: stay and die, or leave and survive. He chose to survive. He packed one small bag, taking his wife, 3 children, and his grandmother's old, worn recipe book. The pages were stained with flour and oil, holding generations of baking secrets. It was the only piece of his past he could carry. The journey to America was long and painful. They walked through deserts, crossed dangerous waters in overcrowded boats, and slept in refugee camps. After 2 years, they arrived in Chicago. Winter greeted them with a bitter cold Yasser had never felt before. The refugee agency gave them a small, barely heated apartment. But it was safe. No bombs, no gunfire, just cold, silence, and uncertainty. Yasser needed work. He spoke little English, and his experience as a master baker in Damascus meant nothing. In America, he was just another refugee. He took a job washing dishes in a restaurant. The work was hard. His hands cracked from the soap and hot water, and the minimum wage was barely enough to feed his family. But he was alive, and his family was safe. That was enough. At night, though, he couldn't sleep. He missed the feel of dough in his hands, the smell of baking bread. He missed creating something that made people happy. One night, he opened his grandmother's recipe book. An idea formed in his mind. A dangerous, hopeful idea. He would bake again. With no bakery and very little money, he used his dishwashing wages to buy flour, sugar, and yeast. He transformed his tiny kitchen into a bakery, mixing dough by hand and baking Syrian sweets in his small apartment oven. The smell drifted through the building. Neighbors knocked, asking what he was making. He gave them samples. They tasted his baklava and their eyes widened. They asked if they could buy more. He had found his first customers. Word spread slowly. Syrian families came for a taste of home. American neighbors grew curious, tried his food, and fell in love with the flavors. Yasser baked every night after his dishwashing shift, sleeping only 3 hours. His body ached, but his heart was full. He was baking again. He was himself again. His whole family helped, packaging pastries and delivering orders. They were building a new life. After 6 months, Yasser saved enough to quit his job. He applied for a small business loan, but the bank said no. He was a refugee, too risky. Just as he felt defeated, his community rallied. A local church started a fundraiser. Syrian families, American neighbors, and even strangers who loved his pastries donated. They raised $15,000. Yasser cried. People who barely knew him believed in his dream. With that money, he rented a small commercial kitchen and bought professional equipment. He registered his business, Alshem Bakery, named after the ancient name for Damascus, a piece of home in America. The bakery opened on a cold January morning. A line formed outside. Syrian refugees came to taste home. Americans came to taste something new. And food critics came to write reviews. They called his pastries extraordinary, his story inspiring. Business boomed. Yasser hired other refugees, giving them the same chance someone gave him. He moved to a larger space, then an even larger one. Today, Alshem Bakery has 3 locations in Chicago, employing 42 people, most of them refugees who arrived with nothing. Yasser still uses his grandmother's recipe book. The pages are more woe, and now, but the recipes still create magic. He lost his bakery in Syria, but built a better one in America. Not because it was easy, but because he refused to give up. He carried his skills across oceans and his hope in a recipe book. War can destroy buildings, but it cannot destroy talent, determination, or the human spirit. Yasser proved that refugees are not burdens. They are builders, dreamers, and survivors who become success stories when given a chance. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Story Studio 91 and share this wisdom with someone who needs it today.